faithfully convey value and interpret great books from around the world. Hi, this is Sally with Book Talk. Today, we're interpreting the book India's Youth Rhapsody for you. Do you know what a typical contemporary Indian youth is like? Feel free to leave us a comment in the comments section. Currently, India has 600 million people under 25, making up about half its population and the world's largest youth group. But not everyone among these 600 million can become social elites. Most face three big problems: lack of education, unemployment, and no job skills. A 2014 UN report stated that how we meet these Indian youth's needs and aspirations will shape our shared future. So, what do the Indian youths in this situation think? Facing these three no's problems, have they found a way out? This book focuses on ambitious, small-town Indian youths to answer these questions. The author, Snigdha Poonam, is an Indian writer and journalist. She lives in New Delhi, and her work often appears in outlets like the New York Times, The Economist, The Caravan, and major Indian media. She's also won runner-up for the Financial Times Writing Award and the Bournemouth University Change Journalist Award. So one thing, the final, from 2014 to 2017, Poonam immersed herself in these youths' lives for long-term interviews. She calmly depicts their anxieties, anger, dreams, and struggles, outlining contemporary Indian youth's life, work, and mental state. Many interviewees call themselves crazy or insane, with ambitions for fame and fortune that seem irrational. Published in 2018, the book has 7 chapters with crazy dream-chasing stories on different themes. It was named a Best Book of the Year by the Financial Times and won Best Nonfiction at the Crossword Book Award in India. Next, we'll break it down into 4 parts to cover the main content. First, Indian clickbait. Second, crazy Indian English. Third, village facilitators. Fourth, scamming Americans. Okay, now let's start with part 1, Indian clickbait. In 2016, in Indore, a medium-sized Indian city, 10 young people were meeting in an all-glass office. They're all under 23, but they're making decisions. What will Americans read when they wake up in a few hours? Kardashian family gossip or Justin Bieber's new girlfriend? 15 funny comments about Trump or your face? What happens if you get hit by a car? The attendees unanimously chose the car crash topic. If they're doing it, they'll go all out. What if 2 cars hit one face simultaneously? Former U.S. President Trump is forever the click king. Any headline with him guarantees American clicks. This company, WittyFeed, is among the world's fastest-growing content factories, with millions daily visitors. 80% foreigners. Half those foreigners are Americans. On Facebook alone, WittyFeed has over 1 billion followers. In 2016, valued at just $30 million, their goal was surpassing the UK and US to become the world's largest media company, bigger than BBC or CNN. Ironically, this content comes from small-town Indian youths who've never traveled abroad. Their dream? Ruling the world through the internet. Entering WittyFeed's office, you'd swear you're in Silicon Valley. Open plan space with wall collages stating company principles. Create with mad courage. Espresso machines, beanbags, ping-pong tables, a gym, men's restroom, call, women's khaleesi from Game of Thrones. Titles for Dothraki tribe leaders, while the CEO's office is Winterfell, the northern capital. Master of this Indian Winterfell is Vinay Singhal, raised in a northwest Indian village where his father was a grain broker. At 16, Singhal vowed to become the world's richest man by becoming a software engineer, because seemingly all Indian youths get rich through coding. In 2010, Singhal entered an engineering school in Southeast India for a computer engineering degree. He quickly realized he lacked programming talent, but discovered the internet could earn him money. He, his younger brother, and a few classmates started a partnership helping other companies build small websites. At the end of 2011, Singhal's 17-year-old brother, Carvin, created a Facebook page called Wonders of India, uploading photos of historical sites, like Delhi's Lotus Temple, Within a month, the page got thousands of likes. Then Singhal thought, why only post Indian content? They started posting interesting people, places, and adventures, gaining 1 million likes in 1 year. Nearly half came from the UK, US, Canada, and Australia. This opened the content market door, leading them to build a site publishing irresistible clickbait, brain junk food. That site was Witty Feed. As clickbait creators, they ignored core messages and facts, only caring if headlines struck readers, like 7 ways to please your boyfriend, 14 thirsty girls' confessions. Singhal hired low-educated youths to churn out similar articles, requiring no experience. In fact, this had to be their first job, but applicants must desperately want it. Each interview asked, "Who are you?" Answers could be monologues or hot dances, with dances scoring higher. Young minds were easily molded to fit Singhal's hybrid culture. Silicon Valley meets Indian small-town values. Workdays began chanting the Hindu sacred syllable Om, ending with dance parties. Singhal demanded employees treat the company as family. 80 youth seeing him as elder brother to follow unquestioningly. Singhal told staff, "Embrace Indian values to beat the West. We'll surpass them." Because we value family. Every Sunday morning, Singhal gave motivational talks to employees. The podium was called King's Landing, capital of the 7 kingdoms in Game of Thrones. He'd speak for hours about 5- and 10-year plans. Steve Jobs frequently featured, urging, "Live each day like it's your last. Sometimes life hits you hard, but don't lose heart." These words often resonate deeply with employees. Elon Musk appears increasingly in speeches with his famous quote, "The only thing that matters is fighting for greater enlightenment of humanity."
So one of Singhal's dreams is leading humanity to outer space.
He also draws inspiration from numerous American movies and TV shows. For example, Game of Thrones is about strategy, passion, and principles. The essence of Rocky, starring Sylvester Stallone, is that life is about how much you can endure and keep moving forward. Well, Singhal's motivational spirit also influenced his employees, like 22-year-old content director Lavanya Srivastava. And this plump girl has curly hair and sparkling eyes. Srivastava joined 2 years ago after her father died. With an elderly, unemployed mother and younger sister, she started job hunting during college.
To support the family.
Now she falls asleep thinking not about tomorrow's tasks, but which global metropolis the company should expand to next. "Maybe Los Angeles," she tells the author. "Everyone here is an entrepreneur aiming for great achievements. Our main readers are American. Why should we hold back?" Srivastava's clickbait career began with relationship advice, a blank slate teaching Americans love, which seemed far-fetched. Initially clueless, she started sincerely exploring her feelings and reading extensively, gradually mastering the craft. Witty Feed's secret to virality? Emotion. Srivastava says emotional investment is crucial when writing such articles. Over time, she developed her style and learned to write dramatic rise and fall stories. For example, stories about people living resiliently with scars particularly move female readers. Though her home has no garden or pool, she writes tutorials teaching others how to build pools. Her headlines are down to earth. "I couldn't afford a pool, but this approach is genius." Other tricks include telling readers what they're doing wrong. At this point, their curiosity gets hooked. Srivastava wrote an article that gained 2 million views. The title was, "You Still Don't Know Your Brushing Method Has Been Wrong All Along." If Srivastava and his colleagues are exploiting Americans' weaknesses to make money, and in India, another group has found life-changing opportunities in American English. Now, we move on to part 2. In the past, English was seen as a colonial language imposed on Indians. Mahatma Gandhi once said that forcing millions to learn English was a form of enslavement. But today, English reflects more of an issue of unequal learning resources. Overall, Indian men are more likely than women to learn English, higher castes than lower castes to speak fluent English, and wealthier Southerners than poorer Northerners are more likely to be good at English. In 1991, India began economic reforms, opening its doors to the world. In 1998, an entrepreneur in Delhi, India's capital, set up a call center in his office, redirecting calls to American companies to India, charging only a fraction of what it would cost in the US. And from 2000 to 2011, half of the world's call centers were in India, with over 2 million people at its peak. Indians working in the call center industry, the English-speaking urban college students weren't enough, so the industry needed to quickly train people who could speak a simplified version of English, meaning they could handle practical work scenarios with spoken English. Spoken English training became a key means for Indians to achieve their dreams. In 1991, a 20-year-old named Kram Lamba opened a training institute called Spoken English American Academy in Meerut, northern India. Lamba himself failed an interview for a junior position in the Indian Army due to poor English. Innovative, collaborative. He enlisted his brother, who had emigrated to the US, to help build a training module that claimed to reverse engineer American English. The American Academy offered a 3-month spoken English course, teaching without grammar, only through storytelling, charging 300 rupees, about 25 yuan RMB. Back then, no one believed you could teach someone to speak English in 3 months. But the data speaks for itself. When founded in 1991, the American Academy had just one classroom. By 2015, it had expanded to 550 branches across India, training tens of thousands of graduates. Most were the first English speakers in their families. Muin Han, a 27-year-old spoken English teacher, had little schooling as a child, selling balloons at village markets while his family lived off milk from 2 cows. For people like Han, the only decent job available was call center work. But Han didn't even know the ABCs. At 17, hearing about free English classes in a neighboring village, he saw people speaking English for the first time. He became instantly obsessed, attending free classes for a week. Han then milked cows for the whole village for 2 months, saving about 30 yuan RMB for tuition to continue lessons. For the next 6 months, he barely slept, returning from market each day to read aloud from notebooks. He mimicked his teacher's every word and inflection, drawn-out syllables, pauses, soft laughs, even calling free customer service lines on his father's phone. These on-demand English-speaking operators usually hung up after hearing Han ramble, but occasionally patiently listened as he discussed family, friends, and dreams. After mastering English, Han taught in his village for 3 years before applying to a major IT call center where his accent was rejected. But months later, he got a phone interview with the American Academy asking him to list topics he could discuss in English. Han listed 100: my mom, my childhood, my life, my dreams, etc. After 7 years at the Academy, Han rose from instructor to academic director, teaching daily from 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. The author was baffled by Han's teaching methods. After weeks of classes, he still couldn't grasp Han's logic. One moment, Han explained transitive versus intransitive verbs. The next, he jumped to 5 points to say before shaking hands. But Han insists that teaching students 3 classes a week for 3 months will prepare them for most English-speaking scenarios. He says in class that English has only one rule: speak boldly as if you make the rules. And his students learn more than just spoken English. They learn how to express ideas and even engage closely with Western thinking. Han has students express opinions on topics, like, is appearance important? He also has students engaging debates.
The debate topic is free love versus arranged marriage, and everyone must participate.
This debate topic starkly contrasts with Han's physical classroom setup. Although marketed as modern and English-focused, many training centers maintain the tradition of seating boys and girls separately in Indian classrooms. The American Academy is no exception. Girls never cross the aisle to speak to boys opposite them. Before class, boys enter directly, while girls wait in a separate room until the teacher arrives. But in class, they discuss the pros and cons of free love in English. For some girls, English means escape. One girl told the author she wants to pass a bank interview to delay her arranged marriage for a few years. Another girl wants a promotion at an IT company so she can stay living independently in Bangalore. For others, English is a cure-all for every problem. If you speak English, people will listen to you. If people listen to you, you can make them accept your suggestions. Salesmen can sell broadband. College students can be invited for coffee by their crush. In short, English can improve life. Regardless of whether their dreams come true, Han himself has achieved a status leap through English, at least in his view. He says, "Wherever I am in India, speaking English gives me the courage to face anything. I always attract attention. In Delhi, I feel confident. I feel superior."
Because 90% of Indians want to speak English. And when I return to my village, villagers come to my house to hear me speak English, like fans gathering around the pop star. You.
Han proudly tells the author about his students, some in the UK, USA, some in Saudi Arabia, some at the prestigious Indian Institutes of Technology, and others interning at banks. Khan, IEF. After working at the American Academy for about 7 years, Han quit and started his own spoken English center, continuing his mission to transform students into life winners through English. If the previously mentioned Han and Singhal both leveraged international market opportunities to turn their lives around, then the facilitators, we'll discuss in part 3, have set their sights on rural India. Simply put, facilitators help ordinary people bypass India's complex administrative red tape to get things done, like assisting illiterate villagers apply for welfare subsidies or obtain digital IDs.
24-year-old Pankaj Prasad is one such facilitator in Jharkhand state, northeastern India.
He's small-framed, with big, curious eyes, looking younger than his age. Prasad has limited education and no professional skills, but dreamed big since childhood. In 2006, 16-year-old Prasad convinced his contractor father to buy him a computer and digital camera. He hung blue backdrop paper at home and started taking passport photos for villagers. 8 photos for 60 rupees, about 5 yuan. At that time, India's government rolled out welfare policies covering rural health care, housing, water, plus announced subsidies and farm loan waivers.
Applying for these benefits required a 3.4 centimeter by 4.5 centimeter passport photo for application forms.
Initially hesitant, villagers soon lined up outside Prasad's hut from dawn till dusk within weeks. To become a better facilitator, Prasad became a local newspaper correspondent, tracking officials' work to build closer connections.
In 2009, the state government appointed him village-level entrepreneur, transforming his shop into a photo studio, press office, and public service center.
Village-level entrepreneurs earn no fixed salary, but receive commissions of several hundred yuan per service. Prasad's services include issuing caste and income certificates, opening bank accounts, distributing government allowances to vulnerable groups, plus booking train tickets, prepaying phone bills, etc. Villagers often queue before dawn at Prasad's door, though he only appears at 8 a.m. Because if he appeared immediately, whenever someone came, no one would take him seriously. In 2012, India's government mandated digital IDs for national welfare applications like rural income schemes, requiring village council forms with passport photos. Prasad and his family worked day and night taking photos for weeks, earning 100,000 rupees, about 8,500 yuan, substantial income. In 2014, Prasad became a registered digital ID processor, the peak of his government facilitator career. He got a small office at township headquarters, officially collecting applications, recording biometrics, and issuing digital IDs. This increased his monthly income by about 3,000 yuan.
Villagers sometimes slipped Prasad 5 to 10 yuan notes as bribes after services.
They weren't used to getting things from government without payment, and Prasad quickly grew accustomed to taking bribes. And Prasad, in fact, according to the book, all Indian government projects involve corruption, not just for money. In male-dominated impoverished areas, anyone failing to earn beyond salary is seen as weak and incompetent, while embezzlement is worn as a badge of courage. In 2015, Prasad hosted his brother's wedding, a 3-day feast consuming 100 kilograms of mutton and abundant liquor. Now he's effectively the family head. Brother, when will you marry? When his sister quit school, all decided by him at 25. As Prasad reached his peak, many peers were entering scams, becoming either scammers or victims. Now we enter part 4. How India's professional phone scammers cheat Americans. Tens of thousands of professional phone scammers operate across Mumbai, Delhi, Kolkata, and other major Indian cities.
They impersonate tax agents, Apple support, or fake Viagra manufacturers when calling Americans.
These scam centers have low hiring standards, no education or work experience needed, minimal English required. Training takes 1 day, with monthly salaries of 25 to 30,000 rupees, 2 to 2.5 thousand yuan, plus uncapped commissions. Job-seeking youths can hardly resist such recruitment ads online. When they call the advertised number, someone hastily answers and texts them instructions for interviews and training. During the author's undercover visit, his training center had 700 people paying weekly on Sundays, listening to an English teacher briefly before leaving with appointment letters lacking company names or addresses, awaiting further texts. A young man named Pradip Saruya thought he'd become an Amazon customer agent, but ended up in a small office. People gave him a script to memorize, then he worked alongside 50 so-called specialists. The job was simple. Saruya called Americans from lists, introducing himself as Charles, then informing them they were under federal investigation for tax evasion, frightening about 1 in 10 targets. Hearing panic in voices, Saruya would say his supervisor would help settle taxes via online transfer before transferring to a closer.
They direct panicked Americans to buy hundreds in Apple gift cards at nearby malls. The closer transferred calls to bosses who recorded card pins.
A closer named Pawan Pujari told the author he earned $24,000 worth of Apple cards for the company in 2 months.
On his 23rd birthday, Pujari received 50,000 rupees commission, about 4,200 yuan. He spent it immediately. Pujari worked at a Mumbai scam call center. Raided around 2017, 700 employees were arrested. Posing as IRS agents, they scammed Americans out of hundreds of millions.
Pujari would say he'd read an IRS affidavit. Don't interrupt while I read. This is being monitored and recorded by federal government.
If questioned, Pujari said, police and IRS investigators will be at your door within 30 minutes, silencing nearly all doubts. Many cried on the phone, then Pujari directed them to buy cards. But Pujari didn't last long before resigning. It started when he called an American woman named Regina. Right after his scripted pitch, she broke down crying, saying she couldn't afford food and relied on food banks to feed her son. Pujari thought, what if his own mother was treated like this? He told his boss he couldn't scam this woman anymore, but the boss took over the call and continued. 2 days later, Pujari contacted the actual FBI, leading to law enforcement raiding the scam center. He resigned 2 months earlier. Within 2 weeks of quitting, Pujari received 3 job offers, all in phone scams.
From loan scams, to travel scams, to Viagra scams, you name it, tech support scams are the most common.
According to a 2016 Microsoft survey, 2/3 of global users experienced tech support scams within a year. A common method uses pop-ups on victims' computers warning of viruses, then scaring them into buying antivirus products. $299 per year, or $399 per 2 years. or their computer's doomed. Most seeing pop-ups feel guilty like watching porn or illegal downloads, making them easy targets. Per Microsoft, Americans lose $1.05 annually to tech support scams, with 86% of scam calls originating from India. One scammer told the author, "If customers don't pay, I'll even bring up the FBI." Scam jobs make these youths feel they understand American weaknesses without leaving home. For example, Americans dislike fixing things themselves. Relying on others is their biggest flaw. Or scamming Americans is easy because they're gullible. Many realizing they're in scam centers do struggle internally, but others say, at least stay till month end for your salary. Some persist, while others justify it. As an Indian youth with no future, I'm the real victim here. Americans complain about being scammed, but do they consider the person on the line? Calling endlessly for just over $300 monthly? What else can we do? As mentioned earlier, most of India's 600 million youth under 25 face the three no's problems: lack of education, unemployment, and no job skills. With internet access, these Indian youth receive the same information as American peers, developing identical desires and dreams: wealth and fame. But reality is harsh. India simply can't provide enough jobs. Each month, 1 million Indians enter the job market. Only about 0.1% find stable positions, with approximately 117 million needing employment. And in 1916, 19,000 people competed for 114 positions in one Indian city. Thousands of college graduates applied for cleaner jobs, some even holding MBA degrees. That same year, 9.2 million vied for under 100,000 railway jobs, while 1.7 million competed for 1,500 positions at a state bank. Acceptance rates below 0.1%.
Some unemployed youth turn to riots. Many channel anger and anxiety into politics.
They easily find organizations like Sachin Ahuja, who joined the Gal Rakshak Dal Cow Protection Brigade. This group aims to protect Hinduism's sacred cows from being eaten or skinned for leather. They're among India's most feared groups today. In Gujarat, Western India, Dalits, low-caste people, were tied to trucks and beaten unconscious by cow vigilantes because they worked as skinners. An elderly Muslim laborer was killed by Hindu extremists who suspected he stored beef in his fridge. A boy named Kumar, interviewed by the author, joined the Indian Youth Militia at 13. His favorite activity, carrying an iron rod to throw at public couples or beat religious minorities. The author believes neither Kumar nor Ahuja act from genuine patriotism or Hindu devotion. They're truly fighting for identity, craving fame in their hometowns. Ultimately, their anger targets not public couples or skinners, but their own insignificant status. Others choose entrepreneurship. India alone has 1 million clickbait startups like WittyFeed. After all, it's incredibly hard for Indian youth to find salaried jobs. But with smartphones, you need little capital to start your own company. In 2017, Amit Shah, deputy to PM Modi, said India can't provide jobs for over 1 billion people, instead offering self-employment opportunities. The author notes this rhetoric's subtext. We can't manage your dreams, but we're happy to let you figure it out yourselves. The target audience still willingly buys it, with some turning to deceive others themselves. Among interviewees, professional phone scammers aren't the only fraudsters, nor Americans the only victims. Job sites offer career boost packages, resume optimization, social media branding, interview coaching, promising jobs they never deliver. The author also interviewed Azhar, a Bollywood dream chaser. Repeatedly calling audition ads, conversations always ended with demands for 6,000 rupees, approximately 500 yuan, for portfolio photos from unverifiable entities lacking addresses or social media. Azhar's solution? Scamming government beekeeping loans to pay talent show entry fees. He even ran lottery scams targeting unlucky alcoholics. He tried honest work, opening a Chinese restaurant, selling shirts and hardware. But chefs fled, payments went uncollected. He couldn't grasp business logic. lost money, and spent 3 years engaging with small-town youth. The author summarizes his subject's philosophy. Anything goes if it makes money. They resent their status, but few have clear morals. Most don't care, yet all experience rapid life changes. Scam employees learn tricks, quit to run frauds independently. Singles' witty feed still gets 100 million monthly visits, but half are now Indians. Facebook only allows sharing high-quality content, so clickbait isn't as effective anymore. The author firmly believes these Indian youths will relentlessly pursue money, fame, and power, like someone flying into outer space without a return plan. No matter where you end up, the sun remains dazzling and the stars are within reach. All right, having heard these stories of Indian youths, is there anything you'd like to share with us? Feel free to leave us a comment in the comment section. Well, that's all for our introduction to India's Youth Rhapsody. Reading notes are below the audio. We'll see you next time.